Hello, everyone. Aiden Michaels here with Jack Weisberg. Double overtime, our final LA Kings post game video of the season. Why? Because the Edmonton Oilers, for the fourth straight season, have eliminated the Kings in the first round of the playoffs. They win this one 6-4, and they win the series 4-2. The game ended about 20-ish minutes ago, and I am distraught. And I mean, for those of you that, I mean, I only have two viewers right now, and one of them's me. So, uh, for those of you, whoever it is, our other viewer who tuned into our live stream last night about the Lakers, you'll know that we feel pretty much the exact same way. And as always, Jack, I will go to you for your immediate post game thoughts about this game.
I mean, at least we saw that intensity that we were missing in the previous games, which I guess isn't saying a lot considering we lost. But uh, I mean, that was something that completely left us for what, three straight games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, at least when it mattered. But it seemed like tonight the Oilers got a couple lucky bounces. Man, it just I think it was a lot closer than the score said. I felt like after two, like we played a pretty even game. Um, but we saw the fourth line out there
Oh,
for an extended period of time. When, I mean, have they played extensive minutes this entire series?
no, I mean, we would see them once a period, if that, and then today we were seeing them every other shift, it seemed like. Um, I don't know what your thoughts on that is, but for me, I loved it. I thought that was one of the hardest working lines, if not the hardest working line that we had out on the ice today. Obviously, when Spenny scored that goal to make it 5-3, it was big Sammy Helenius that got the assist on that. That fourth line was working, so I get why they were getting more ice time. The first line was not clicking. Trevor Moore's line was playing pretty well. I mean, they didn't really shoot the puck as much as we needed them to, but yeah, that fourth line was getting a lot of minutes after. I mean, they had more minutes tonight probably than they did in the entire series combined before this game. And listen, I gotta say it was a really good game from the Kings. I thought they played very well. Obviously, they made some mistakes and the Oilers capitalized on it, but that just happens. However, and maybe I'll feel a different way about this tomorrow, but I'm not very comfortable with giving the Kings credit for how they played today. They played very well, but the fact that they waited until this game six to do so is disheartening because of the way they played in games 3 and 4. Obviously, playing in Edmonton is tough, but you have to understand the Kings were one of the best home teams. I think the best home team in the league this season. We're supposed to win all these games at home. The Oilers didn't lose a game at home in this series. They went 3-0, and we had a chance to take a series lead at home, and we couldn't do it.
Yeah, uh, I completely agree with you about the fourth line. I think that that's just something that we should have been doing from the beginning. When you look at old Kings teams that went far, the fourth line was always a contributing factor, especially down the stretch. Just making stuff happen in the offensive zone, even if that's just passing it along the boards and making the other team chase. And that's what I saw a lot of tonight from our fourth line. I am all for that. I mean, that's better than chasing around in our own zone. So I liked our effort. Obviously, we didn't come up with the win. The guys seemed like, at least Anze Kopitar did, that he was locked into Jim Hiller's message
Mm.
uh, during the timeout. I don't know how much you can really read into that, given all that's happened. And I'm sure as Kopitar is the captain, he probably should at least look like he's listening. But that was tough. That was tough. I don't know what you saw in terms of just like what we talked about last episode with Hiller and whether he lost the team or not. It didn't feel that way to me.
It's hard to say because when your backs are against the wall and you're facing elimination away from home in one of the toughest buildings to play against or to play in, excuse me, it's hard to determine whether or not the coach has still lost yet. To me, I still think the boys didn't get on the same page as Hiller. I think they were just playing not for themselves in the sense of individually. I just mean they were playing for themselves as a team, as players, not just as the organization. They were saying, "Hey, this is 4 years in a row here. The fans, we deserve a little bit better than what we're getting," and they really gave their all in this game. My question is, why can't they do that in games 3, 4, and 5? After, I mean, it's hard to say. The Kings got pretty lucky in game 1, right? They played a great first 2 periods, but then in game 2 they played a great game, and it was looking really good. You get to games 3, 4, and 5, and there was no sense of urgency. It was dump and chase, and even in game 5, it was dump, and they couldn't even get it out of the zone. They weren't even chasing it, and they were just getting lucky bounces. It was horrible hockey to watch. I hated watching. At least tonight, it was a fun game to watch, and obviously the result didn't go the way that we wanted it to. But it's just, where was the effort? Again, this is where I go back to what I said earlier, which is I really want to give the Kings credit for how they played tonight, but I find it very difficult because of how they played in the last few games. Where was it? It's the same thing. It's like you pick and choose when you're given the effort. First 2 periods of the first 4 games were amazing, and then when you get to the third period of all of those games, they collapse. And then in game 5, the whole game was terrible. In game 6, played a pretty good game, still made some bad mistakes, couldn't come away with the win. It's like, what is going on? Where's the consistency here? Now, my question is to you, is we've talked about this all series long about Jim Hiller, and my dad seems to be pretty set on fire Jim Hiller. I'm hearing that. At the same time, I'm kind of like, all right, well, it is his first full season as the head coach of the Kings. He had an amazing regular season. He shit the bed in the playoffs. Is that enough to get rid of him? I know my emotions, I let it get the best of me in the sense that when he was making those mistakes, I was saying fire Hiller, fire Hiller. But do we need to calm down right now and realize, hey, this was his first time as a head coach in the NHL in the playoffs? I mean, if you look at his previous ventures as a head coach, not really high level hockey here. So he's not used to the big playoffs against Leon Draisaitl, who's probably going to win the Hart Trophy, and obviously the best player in the league right now, Connor McDavid. Do you think we move on from him this summer? I mean, it's hard to say. I almost want to give him more time here.
It is hard to say, especially with the amount of turnover we've had compared to just past years where like we've been able to have steady, especially during the Kings run with Daryl Sutter. Even though we came in mid-season, but
Yeah.
that's a decade ago now. Beyond that, when it comes to Hiller, it's really tough to say. He had an amazing regular season, but did he have an amazing regular season? You gotta credit the whole team, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you look at the guys on this team, they really performed. Um, Obviously, you give the coach a lot of credit for that. Is it enough credit to keep his job when he acted out in a press conference multiple times, when he blew a game for us where we had the opportunity to go up 3-0? There's just certain things, right? That's kind of just like deal breakers usually on a lot of franchises where it's if you kind of do these things, you're on the outs unless you win, unless you're a winner. And Jim's not a winner just yet.
Hmm.
Would I give him another year? I think I would. I think I would, but he'd be on thin ice. And if we were to go back to the Daryl Sutter point, if we were 30 games in
Yeah.
and we were uh, not performing to our expectations, I pulled the plug.
Yeah. It's hard to say because when Jim Hiller took over as interim head coach, when we fired Todd McClellan, he decided to keep the 1-3-1, which was not working for the Kings, and then this year decided to go against that and became a very offensively productive team, and it worked in a lot of areas um, in the offensive zones and getting shots on goal and actually scoring goals and winning games. Obviously, scoring goals, surprise, surprise, that translates to winning games. Um, yes, I am incredibly mad at some of the decisions Hiller made, but I want to almost speak for a second like he's a player. How pissed were we when Quentin Byfield made that mistake that cost us the game when Bouchard then tied it up with 28 seconds left? No one's going to be like, oh, you know what? He made that huge mistake. It cost us the game in the playoffs. No one's going to call for his head. Why? Because we know that we still have that trust in him and he can get back on his horse. A lot of Kings players make mistake. Kings players make mistake. Mikey Anderson in Game 1 made a really bad mistake to let Connor McDavid score the tying goal at 5-5. No one's saying we should get rid of Mikey Anderson. I mean, it's quite the opposite. So I suppose if we look at it from a different perspective, which I am now, I'm giving Jim Hiller the benefit of the doubt. I do want to read these names out for you, Jack. We're toward the end of the not toward the end of the playoffs, but we're at the end of the season and sort of the end of the first round of the playoffs here, and a lot of coaches have been fired from teams that didn't make the playoffs. So I'm going to name some names here of available coaches, and these aren't even all the available coaches. These are just some. Peter Laviolette, Dan Bylsma, John Tortorella, Rick Tocchet, Mike Sullivan, Joel Quenneville. Big names. Big names. Mike Sullivan, John Tortorella seem like they're probably the Rangers are trying to get one of them, but these are big names to. And the reason why I bring this up after saying that I think we should stick with Hiller is I wonder if that's something that Rob Blake thinks of, which is, wow, these are a lot of big names, even though perhaps we should stay with Jim Hiller. These are enticing names that I'm telling you aren't going to be available this time next year if things go awry. So I don't know if you, again, I'm not a GM. I don't know if they keep that in mind, but to me, I think it's an interesting thing to think about with all these big head coaches that are, I guarantee you all of them, maybe not Joel Quenneville because of that whole Blackhawks thing, but every other name on this list that I just named is going to be a head coach in the NHL next year. The question is Rob Blake going to bite? Your thoughts on that? If you still have that trust in Jim Hiller, do you, if you're Rob Blake, look at these available head coaches and think to yourself, okay, you know what, maybe we should take a chance?
I mean, based on that list you just read out, us not doing our due diligence would just be a disservice to the team. I came across this quote from Hiller earlier today, from his press conference, which I think that his press conferences need to be taken into account, if you're Rob Blake
Mm.
and you're examining his current status as the head coach of the Kings. He didn't take accountability. He said this, I believe, after last game. He goes, each time after we played poorly, our team responded with a really, really strong game. I know our guys were ready to bounce back. So each time we played poorly, we responded with a really, really strong game. A strong game consists of 60 minutes of hockey, not 40, not 45, not 55, 60 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
We didn't do that except for one game in the entire series. Game 2. That was it.
I agree.
A full 60 minutes of hockey. That was up to Kings hockey standards. This is disappointing hearing this from your coach. To go back to what we're saying, I think I'm flipping here. We got to get Hiller out of here, man.
You think?
With that lineup you just read me, they need someone else to look to move the needle here because Hiller's not the answer. You can't make bonehead decisions like that when you're in a series against the Oilers. Listen, if we were in a series against the Blues there, I don't think he would have had as short as a leash as he did.
Mm.
To lose four series in a row to the Oilers, like someone's got to be the scapegoat, and it's kind of a no-brainer for it to be Jim.
Yeah, it's hard with. I mean, you know how they do it in professional soccer, how short the leashes are for coaches in professional soccer. I mean, Chelsea, my favorite team, they won the Champions League. It's the best trophy you can win as a club. And then he had a pretty bad year, bad start to the year the next year, and they fired him. It's like you don't see it that much in hockey, but you're right. You look for a scapegoat, and it's always the coach because what are you going to do? Trade your best player? No, you're not going to do that. Like I don't think there's anybody on this Kings team that I want to get rid of. I'm happy barring the playoffs. Obviously, it's a big thing to bar, but looking at the regular season, I was happy with pretty much every player. My grandfather asked me toward the end of the season, "Hey, who do you think's been the worst player?" And I think I said Tanner Janot, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he may have been the worst player, but he's been pretty good as a fourth line depth guy who's been hitting people around. Obviously, it's a shame he got hurt and couldn't play in the playoffs. But then look who came in for him, Jeff Malott. Big fourth line guy who in the regular season fights people. You're not going to do that much in the playoffs because you need everybody you can get. But I was extremely pleased with every Kings player on the team this year. Our new acquisitions, I mean, Joel Edmondson, when we signed him over the summer, I thought maybe it's a bit of an overpay, and hey, perhaps it is a little bit of an overpay. But he played a great season, and he was a solid defenseman pretty much at all times. Warren Fogle, career high 24 goals this season, left Edmonton to come to us. It was phenomenal. He won the Unsung Hero Award, voted on by his Kings teammates. It's just it's tough that the season ends like this because there's just so much to be proud of for what the Kings have done in the regular season this year. But to lose to the Oilers for a fourth straight year in the first round is it's very disheartening. And the one word, and you said it a second ago, but the one word that I wrote down during the game, if I could describe this series in one word, it would just be disappointing. It's last year was like, yeah, we weren't good. We sucked it. Last year we deserved to get our asses whooped, and we did. This year was different because this year was the year that we should have won this series, and we didn't even take it to 7.
It really should have been. We, I want to say we've never been closer, but we've been in this exact same position where we really had it in the bag. But I think we're gonna have a caller come in here in about a minute.
Okay.
It's a Golden Knights fan, unfortunately, but they got the Oilers next round, so we'll get to
Yeah.
hear
It's
his
good.
thoughts about that potential
It's
series.
a good preview. Yeah, you let me know when he's calling in here. Yeah, it's just I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. And we may see the Oilers again next year if we're lucky. I mean, again, before we head out, obviously we'll get our caller, our anonymous caller, on in a second. But I mean, the Kings were projected to almost miss the playoffs this year, and they ended up second in the Pacific and not too far off of that Pacific Division crown. So there's a lot of positives, but unfortunately, it's if you can't even get out of the first round, it's never an 82 game season. It's 82 games plus the playoffs, and we choked it. We have him calling in.
Uh, let's see if this is gonna work here. James,
Hi, how are you?
There he is.
hello. You're live on the Double Overtime Pod.
Yeah, I gotta make this quick. I just gotta say one thing. Hard fought series by LA, blah blah happens. Fuck the Oilers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you later.
I agree with that. Is he gone now?
Wow,
Uh,
well said right there.
well said. It's encapsulated everything that we've been yapping about for the last 20 minutes. And James, if you're still watching us right now, we love having you on. Obviously, we want to talk to you more in the future when it comes to this Oilers Vegas series. I don't want to speak for you, Jack, but I told this to James last night when we were talking about the Lakers. I said that if the Kings do lose tomorrow night, which they did, then I would be a very, very big Vegas fan for the next couple of weeks to make sure that the Oilers do not reach the next round. I'm a petty guy, and speaking of petty, I must be really petty when I mention these three names. First of all, this is a joke for anyone that's going to take this seriously. I was making a joke to my friend Krista that with all the pain that McDavid has inflicted on me as an Oiler, but also as that, scoring the Team Canada overtime goal against the U.S., he's really like a terrorist. And I mean that in a joking way, obviously. So again, please don't take that out of context. I'm completely joking, but like, that was the first word that came to my mind. Obviously, he's not, but he is the only athlete, and I'm saying this with my whole chest here. He's the only athlete in any sport that I've ever watched with my eyes in my life, where every time he has the puck, I sit up and I am nervous. No other. I've seen some amazing athletes and amazing players in all these different sports my whole life. Not one player has made me feel the way that I feel when he just touches the puck. McDavid will pick it up in his own zone, and I'll hit Krista on the shoulder and I'll be like, hey, I'll just be, oh no, here he goes. It's unbelievable. I have to give credit to McDavid because he's literally, as if that matters, give credit to McDavid. He's the best player in the world. He's unbelievable. Victor Arvidsson's a little weasel. Former King, obviously. I liked him when he was on the Kings. We offered him a couple $1 million. He turned it down because he thought he was worth more. As if. I mean, he's, in my opinion, a very mid player. He should have taken the $1 million. Of course, he goes to the land of second chances in Edmonton and plays pretty dirty. I mean, he cross-checked Gavrikov in the neck today, which was a very, very shitty move to do. Obviously, they have Evander Kane, who I can't believe he's still in the league. I mean, a guy that, obviously, he's a domestic abuser. I know we don't want to get too much into that because this is talking about hockey, but the fact that he's still in this league and didn't face that many repercussions after that is incredible to me. And Darnell Nurse, who, of course, only got suspended one game for cross-checking Byfield in the back of the head while he was on the ice. That's a very dangerous move. It could have been a concussion, could have been worse. So those are three names that I want to mention that I despise. As far as the other Oilers that have just terrorized us, I mean, like I said, McDavid, I hate him because he's good. You know what I mean? He is one of those players. You got to admit, like, there are some players on that Oilers team. Zach Hyman, I hate him. Why? Because he's so scrappy in front of net and he puts the puck on net and he scores goals. He's those players that if you had them on your team, you'd love them. You know what I mean? So credit to all those Oilers, every Oiler on that team, barring those three assholes that I just mentioned. You could almost put Corey Perry in there, but honestly, Corey Perry, as much of a dick that I think he is, of course, we grew up watching him play for the Ducks, the team that we just hate. As much of an asshole that he is, he's a hard fighting player. He was good on that first line. Would I want him on the Kings? Maybe not now. He's getting a bit old, but yeah, I have a certain amount of respect for Corey Perry, and I can say that being one of his biggest haters. I respect him. So I'll give the Oilers their flowers on that. Jack, I don't know if you want to give any Oilers their flowers, but let's see.
I don't know about giving them their flowers, but
Okay.
I will say that we talked about it on the last pod that my boss, he's huge Zach Hyman guy, found out he was Jewish, and I was telling my boss that I hate the guy.
Yeah.
He kills us.
Wait, real quick, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Because you said this. You said this in the last one. The way you're saying it, you are Jewish. Jack Weisberg is Jewish. The way you're saying it makes it seem like, I found out he's Jewish and I hate him. It's like,
No.
we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
That's why, I should like him. So
Right.
it's a little like a dilemma here. But
Yeah.
I that him, Evander Kane, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, outside of obviously, the guys that are game changers. These guys are just under the radar terrorists, I would say. No, because they score like every game. So they're not under the radar. But yes. We have James Judah calling back in here.
All right, good. Bring him in. Bring him in.
James Judah.
Am I back on the alive.
You're back.
You're
live.
live, so you
Double
know.
overtime pod.
I was just at the Clippers game. Sorry that I had to make it quick. I had to drop a friend off. I was wearing a Kings jacket, by the way. I just wanted to let you guys know that. I genuinely did not want to see the Kings lose.
We appreciate that, James. We appreciate, and I'm sad that the Kings didn't move on so we could play, because what a fun rivalry that would be. Me, you, Jordan, Jack. I mean, that would have been such a fun couple of weeks for both of us. But there's next year, I suppose.
Yeah, there's always next year. I mean, look, the truth is that hockey's a brutal sport. It doesn't forgive. Now, let me tell you my opinion on the LA Kings, if that's okay. And
Cool.
let me preface this. I'm not a huge hockey guy. I'm not obsessed with the sport. I love the sport, but I'm not like, I couldn't name players off the top of my head, coaches, this and that. I'm just going to start by saying the obvious. Your coach has made some of the worst errors I've ever seen in sports. His defensive tactics are embarrassing. He wants to score to win. He wants to literally just sit back and give the other teams opportunities to win. And quite frankly, I just find it embarrassing that they represent the city that I'm from. As the king of LA, I find it embarrassing.
Did you say that last sentence again, Mr. Judah?
As the king of LA, I find it very embarrassing.
Okay, Shannon Sharp,
I'm
calm down.
I'm pretty sure that in my hockey bracket challenge, you're the king of Vegas. I feel like you can't be both. You know, you got to pick one.
Well, that
Wow,
Oh, no,
his
did-
bandwidth is not doing him a favor.
Did we lose him? I think we lost you. James, say that again. We didn't get that part.
James, restart.
looked at that point saying embarrassing coaching. It was not good. What do you rip on the guy and say he's a bad person or anything? Because I don't believe that. I just think that it was not good defensive tactics. I mean, when you're up so much, let's look at was it game 1 or game 2 when they almost had that big comeback. I mean, you clearly saw the Kings did not want to go and attack.
Yep.
And then when it comes to defense, they just got overpowered. So I mean, there's really, you guys are going to be strong next season, like I said on the podcast yesterday. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. And I don't think the Oilers are going to win this year, but they do look good. They do look good.
Yeah,
They do.
you guys better whip their ass.
Please do. Please be. I know where this is like a king-centered podcast, but we have the time. We're on live here. James, how do you feel? Obviously, a series win is a series win, but Minnesota, a team that's not amazing, they played pretty well against you guys, right? Does that scare you a little bit going into Edmonton, or do you think you guys are going to turn it up knowing that there's some competition here?
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that you guys, Vegas struggled a little bit at times against Minnesota. Do you feel confident going in the series against Edmonton, knowing that the competition is much better?
Not only do I feel comfortable, I actually feel a lot happier than if we were facing the Kings. I think that Minnesota's a top 3 team when healthy, and I truly believe that, and we didn't get to see that until the postseason due to injury. The Kings would have been a much greater threat to us. Do I believe that we're going to walk through the Oilers? Absolutely not. Do I think it's going to be a hard-fought series? Of course. Do I think that we're capable of beating them? 100%. When we look at Jack Eichel and the performance he puts in, especially on power plays, we know that we're capable. Carlson, Stone, everyone we have are dogs. They will show up. I can guarantee it. Vegas is built to win. They're a franchise that wants to win. They're a franchise that will exceed in anything they do. So I'm looking forward to this series, and I truly believe we'll take the win.
All right. I mean,
Yeah,
that's from a true Vegas man himself. I haven't really watched many Golden Knights games except for the ones where the Kings kind of, took the dubs. But at the end of the day, as much shit that we talk about the Golden Knights and how we just beat you guys in the regular season, there's only one of us going to the second round. So that I will have to concede.
Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest. There's no Golden Knights without the Kings. And I will say that the Kings brought hockey to the West Coast, specifically Wayne Gretzky. So I have nothing but love for them. But you are correct. Only one team did move on, and unfortunately, we're not playing each other. In retrospective, I think that if we did face each other, you guys would have had a really good chance to beat us. So you could pride yourself on that. And then Obviously, a season doesn't mean anything without a trophy, so I'm not going to get on my high horse and say, oh, we made it to the second round. Like I said about the Timberwolves fans yesterday, I don't care about second rounds. I care about banners, just as you guys do too.
Yep. I like that.
Well,
That is well said.
And it's technically 2-1 in my mind. Not that I want to compete with the Kings. I literally have a Kings jacket on right now, as a matter of fact, which I was complimented on Jack by you know who. And I think that there's a swagger to the team that's slowly coming back. And I think as some of these older guys start to leave and the new generation comes in, it's gonna be awesome to see. And I also want to say that, like, in my time going to Staples Center and from some of the games I experienced, Kings games, I have not felt the passion that these fans have had since 2014. I haven't seen the same energy. So the fans have been showing up, which is huge.
They have. And
I would argue
go ahead.
fans always show up, man. Fans, they're great.
I agree, but this year specifically, when the Kings were so good at home, like look at last year. The Kings were so good on the road, and the fans, they showed up, but not as much. But the Kings were so good at home this year. It was almost like if you're going to a game at Crypto.com Arena, you're gonna see a win. The fans were showing up even more. I mean, even in regular season games, when I was home for break and I went to the Boston, Carolina, New York game in like 1 week, and those were some of the most electric crowds I've seen in a few years in LA. So
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a few games this season, a few Kings games. I went to a Knights versus Kings game. I went to a Kings versus I'm drawing a blank on who I saw. But anyway, the Kings show up. I mean, that goal horn, which has been there for obviously a long time now, is very frightening to hear for an away fan. I mean, the energy was definitely brought out to Staples Center this year, and I'm not going to call it crypto.
Good. And I slipped up yesterday saying Staples, and I'm glad because they should change it back. I miss Staples Center. It's always going to be Staples in our eyes, I think.
Now, did you guys see the Clippers game?
I heard they won.
Yeah, so actually I went with a friend, and we decided that we were going to root for the Nuggets. And the reason that we chose this was because our younger brother's going to Boulder. So the entire game we were screaming at the top of our lungs when the Nuggets scored. Clipper fans were looking at us. They were not happy with us. And, at the end of the day, I really hope this doesn't get back to Howard. But at the end of the day, I think that the Nuggets are going to win in Game 7.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. I am sick of their fans acting all high and mighty whenever the Lakers lose. I mean, It's a joke. It's annoying. And I was a Clippers fan for like 2 years, and then I matured out of it.
Good.
I went to a 1-month treatment facility to get rid of all my Clippers memorabilia. I had intensive therapy, and it made me realize that I'm a bigger man than that, and I deserve more.
Well, that's spectacular. I'm glad you've come back to the good side, and one day you'll do that. You'll talk about maturing out of being a Clipper fan. One day you'll mature out of being a Vegas Golden Knights fan and come back to the Kings. Just like Jordan obviously loved that guy to death. We went to elementary school together. That guy was a Kings fan. He doesn't want to admit it. He'll never admit it, but he was a Kings fan, and he left us for Vegas. That's why I give him so much shit, just because he was a Kings fan.
Okay, well, first I'll talk about myself. I grew up loving Kopitar.
Yeah.
That's my guy. I like the Kings. Go Kings, whatever. It didn't click too much for me. I was never a diehard fan. You know what I mean? I was never even really a fan, to be honest. I think I had a hat. Sure. I had a hat. But I think what happened is you and Jack and you guys both had, you guys have all your photos together and Kings stuff and this and that. I think, Jordan was kind of left out, and now him and I have teamed up and been like, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
so
you guys want to play 2-on-2, we can play 2-on-2,
So James, you're saying that
you guys should try to welcome him back, maybe. I think he's far gone, though.
Are you saying a big reason why Jordan is a Golden Knights fan is because he felt that he was left out of the Kings circle with me and Jack?
I don't know, but every time I don't know. I've seen photos of you and Jack when you guys were young in full Kings uniform, and I never seen him in one of those photos in full Kings uniform. So maybe he wasn't invited. Maybe he didn't care about the Kings, but I don't know. I mean, Looked like it was just you guys.
A lot of those he showed up seconds after the picture was taken in full Kings gear. Uh, so don't be tricked by what you see online.
That is very fair. I also wanted to say that the Dallas Stars are going to be eliminated, and that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to get eliminated next round. And I'm looking forward to both those eliminations.
All right.
Us too.
Us too.
James, we have another caller on the line, but we enjoyed your time and uh we'll make sure to get you on again as soon as possible.
Yes, we will.
You guys so much. I look forward to our next chat, and keep me posted.
Much love,
All
brother.
right. See you later. All right, so we do have a call coming in from somebody who's watched all of these games with her father, who's a big Kings fan, she's gonna come on here and say that I forced her to join this, and that's like partially true, but she's gonna try and offer some. We heard enough about the Golden Knights, right? We want to hear more about what a Kings fan has to say. So we're hoping the connection goes through, and we will get our mystery person on the line here. In the meantime, gotta love James. I think do we have her here? Hello.
Message for
No, it didn't go through.
But are you inviting Siri on here
Siri? I mean, I could if you want me to.
or who's this mystery person?
Well, you're gonna find out if they get on the line. Unfortunately, I can't give out the name unless she decides to join. Oh, here we go. We're getting the call. All right. Hello, Miss Charlie Biddle. Are you on the line here?
I am on the line. Hi, Aiden Michaels.
Hello, it's Aiden Michaels and Jack Weisberg. You're live on YouTube right now on the Double Overtime podcast, the post-game report with the Edmonton Oilers beating the Kings in 6 games. Charlie, I know you're going to say that I forced you to come on here and you may not have
And you
some...
did.
Maybe I did. You might not have some analysis for us, but you watch the games with your father. All I'm going to ask you here, Ms. Biddle, is your thoughts on the entire series as a whole in terms of how you felt watching these games.
Well, I felt enraged and happy at some points. I was very excited when the Kings came out with a good streak in the beginning and we were doing good. But then when they go on the road, things get a little tricky.
It's true.
And when they went on the road, it seemed they lost their mojo from the Crypto.com arena, which, like you said, should be Staples Center. Agreed on
Yep.
that front. Other than that, I was just really not loving the Canadians. As a Canadian myself, so I can say that. I'm allowed to say that.
Yep.
I wasn't for the Canadian team this time, and I didn't like the way that they played, only because first off we lost, but also it's an aggressive sport, but they were mean aggressive. They weren't just hockey aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Arvidsson, cross-check Gavrikov in the face. I mean, that's
Exactly.
aggressive, but it's mean aggressive. I'm glad that you admit that you're Canadian on the air. That's a tough thing to do, but glad you did it. Well,
Okay.
Charlie, you offered some great analysis. I appreciate you coming on, and obviously, happy birthday to your sister. I hope you guys had a great night.
Yeah, shout out Lucy.
Shout out Lucy. Happy birthday to her. And yeah, Charlie, thanks again for joining.
Well, thank you for forcing. It's nice to virtually meet you, Jack Weisberg.
Yeah, you guys have some. We're not going to talk about it here, but you guys have some more connections than we may think.
All right, I gotta head out now. I gotta go.
All right, guys.
But thanks for having me.
All right, Charlie Biddle, Kings fan. Thanks for tuning in. All right, bye, Charlie.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, that was Charlie Biddle, Kings fan. Offered some great analysis there. Yeah, I mean, if only her dad was there. Her dad's a big Kings fan, knows a lot about the sport. Perhaps we get him in on a future episode. But yeah, there you have it. Jack, I mean, I don't think we have any more callers on the line, do we?
Well, we have 12 waiting, but I don't think they'll make it on tonight, man. It's getting late out here, man.
It is. It really is. Well, I don't know. We've been on this stream for a while. Obviously, it's tough, and obviously, I think we're both in slightly better moods now. But it's gonna probably hurt tomorrow when we see. I mean, I'm not going on Instagram. My Instagram comments, by the way, were getting a lot of likes. I was commenting a lot. One of the ones that got the most likes was me explaining to everybody that I'm gonna drink everything in my refrigerator tonight after the game. Oh, we do have another caller. Um, this could be a very short call because I'm not sure she watched really any of the series except for a little bit of last night's game. It's Dylan Abraham. You know Dylan Abraham. So we're gonna invite her on here in just a second. Is this Dylan Abraham?
Hello, Aiden Michael.
Hello. You're live on YouTube with Aiden Michaels and Jack Weisberg. If you say anything crazy, not only am I gonna hang up on you, but I'm gonna send something bad to your college apartment. In fact, I might just dox you on YouTube right now. So just a heads
First of
up.
all, you don't even know my new address. Second of all, I was calling in to say hello to my fans
Well,
and hello to Jack Weisberg.
well,
Yo, what's good?
he's oh I have my earbuds in. You can't hear him, so
Oh,
he
I
said,
was
"What's
like,
good?"
damn.
But here's what I'm going to ask you, Dylan. I'd love to speak with you, but I do. This is the Kings live stream here. Your thoughts on? I know you didn't really watch tonight, but you watched last night. Your thoughts on how many drinks I should drink right now?
Considering your reaction that you sent me via Snapchat and text after the game, I'm surprised that you're still not drinking continuously.
It's only because I have to go to the library after this. But
Are you serious?
Yep.
Well, I'm surprised that you're not drunk at the library as we are speaking because I thought that you might have done something harmful. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
yeah, I mean, pick a number
If you
between one
will.
and three. If Jack, pick a number between 1 and 3, right now.
If you said 2, I'll do it.
3.
3. He says 3. I'll drink. Fine, I'll drink. That's the number I was thinking of. I have to. I have to drink now.
It's between 1 and 3.
Between 1 and 3. We're not going to talk about this now. Between 1 and 3 includes 1 and 3.
I don't know if that's true.
Now you look like a donkey on YouTube live.
You know what? YouTube Live. I will say, I love the Kings,
Okay.
but at the same time, now I'm at 67% correctness on the bracket.
Wow. Okay. One of the members of my bracket challenge has a pretty good bracket. Hey, who made that bracket? Was it ChatGPT? Okay, right. I forgot. All right.
No,
Well,
I did. I made that bracket.
yeah, this is our
And then
show.
and then you compare it with ChatGPT, and everything was the same.
Well,
because
Dylan Abraham, it's been real, and I will call you after this live stream. Unfortunately, you've said what you needed to say about the Kings. All right. You have a lovely night, Ms. Abraham.
Oh, go Teddy. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. That was Dylan Abraham, hard-hitting analysis, Jack. I mean, what's gotten into these people? I mean, this Kings loss has really just gone crazy.
It scattered the masses.
It has.
But really a huge thanks to all that called in today. I thought that was some major call-in activity.
It was.
Maybe we didn't even expect.
No, I mean, I definitely expected James because, he's a regular and he can offer some good stuff. Charlie, I forced her to do it, but she did great. She watches all the games and I know that she feels the way that I feel when we win and when we lose. She has that passion, and Dylan is just a clown. I mean, you know Dylan, she's a clown. She's calling in, I think, because she was jealous that we had Charlie on here and James. But Jack, just to kind of get right back on track and perhaps end this here, we'll give kind of our final thoughts on the season itself, the series, of course, but the season in general, and then we'll head out for the final time.
We're gonna be better for this. I've said this a lot of years in a row, but this year I feel it in the sense that we really did take a huge step from last year. The Oilers also got better, so let's start there. Both teams got better this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we obviously outplayed them in the regular season, they outplayed us when it mattered. We're taking the right steps. I think the future outlook is good. I'm not going to be down on it. But someone's going to be the scapegoat. I think it's Hiller. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. My words are it was the most fun I've had watching a Kings regular season probably ever. I mean, we talk a bunch when the Kings won the cup in 12 and 14. Obviously, when they won it in 12, they barely made the playoffs. In 14, they were pretty good, but not as good. They've never been an amazing team. This is obviously now I'm at a point where I remember every game. I mean, obviously now that we're in college, we can't go to all these games like we used to. So, I'm watching all these games. It's tough when they start at 9 o'clock. I mean, they start at 10 o'clock for you on the East Coast. And yeah, I mean, it's the most fun I've had watching the Kings all year. And it's sad that it has to end like this again. But I mean, there were so many great moments. I mean, Quentin Byfield playing out of his mind this year. He really made a name for himself. People started to recognize that he was and will be a star in the NHL. Warren Fogle, we signed him, and he was amazing. Darcy Kemper being a Vezina finalist, top 3 goalie in the league, no matter what, is incredible. He put the team on his back. We don't give him enough credit. Great season for the young guys. Laferriere had a breakout season. Spence played great. Clark was playing great. He had 2 goals in the playoffs. He had a goal tonight as well. Just a lot of positives, and yeah, there are negatives, but I don't really want to go into those. And if you think about it, it's the playoffs. I mean, the Senators beat the Maple Leafs every time they played in the regular season and got, kind of dominated in the playoffs here. The Lightning were one of the better regular season teams, and they got, blown out by the Panthers. It happens. We were better than the Oilers in the regular season, but at the end of the day, what matters is how you can play in the playoffs, and the Oilers got the best of the Kings once again. So I will leave it at that. To everybody who tuned in and called in, we thank you for joining us along this ride. Jack, it's been fun talking Kings. Obviously, we're not going anywhere. We have a lot of things to talk about. The NFL draft, the NHL draft, obviously baseball, every sport. We got so much to talk about in the coming weeks and months. But unfortunately, our time covering the Los Angeles Kings and Los Angeles Lakers in a matter of 48 hours has come to a very sad end. So, as for Jack Weisberg, my name's Aiden Michaels saying so long. The Kings lose to the Oilers for the 4th straight year in depressing fashion. Good night.